Hi friends, it's Belinda here again from Be Making Joy. Back with, I guess, episode 1 part B, because I forgot to share with you my new yarn purchases, and I wanted to make sure to share that with you this week because it's from a company that's doing their grand opening in Calgary this weekend. The company is Ancient Arts Yarns. Their website is ancientartsfiber.com. Yes, .com. And they have been hand dyeing for a number of years. They do special colorways for various things. They are the dyer behind Touchdown and Hat Trick Yarns at River City Yarns in Edmonton that I've used before. So now they've opened a store in Calgary. Their address is 607 Manitou Road, Southeast Calgary. And their grand opening is this weekend, January 27th to 29th. They're doing studio tours, special lectures, pattern releases, custom colorways and prizes, tour of their dye studio. And they've also started knit nights on Wednesday nights and a Thursday afternoon group. So let's see, I've joined their Color of the Month club. So their January colorway, I'll read you the blurb first and then show you the color. It says, we begin with the January color of the month to Cantonham necklace. The first stop takes us to Egypt and the Valley of the Kings and scandal around the tomb of King Tut. I won't say the full name anymore. I can't. On November 4th, 1922, the tomb was opened by the expedition led by Howard Carter and George Herbert, the 5th Earl of Carnarvon. In 1924, there was a dispute between Carter and the government of Egypt as to who had control of the tomb and the artifacts. And in the end, an agreement was reached that the tomb's artifacts would not be split between them, but would go to the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. However, not all the artifacts ended up at the museum. A number of pieces of jewelry that were photographed at the tomb during the excavation weren't turned over. Prior to this excavation, the attitude towards discoveries such as this were less focused on preservation and more on notoriety and financial gain. Howard Carter likely felt entitled to some minor artifacts. Carter and the government of Egypt as to who had control of the tomb and the artifacts, and in the end an agreement was reached that the tomb's artifacts would not be split between them, but would go to the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. However, not all the artifacts ended up at the museum. A number of pieces of jewelry that were photographed at the tomb I already read that part. Scandal broke out at a conference in Luxor in November 2022. Marc Gabold, an Egyptology professor at Paul Valéry University of Montpellier in France, identified some of the lost jewelry. He compared images taken in Tutankhamun's tomb in the 1920s to pieces that are in museums and auction sites, which allowed him to virtually reconstruct a broad collar that was on Tutankhamun's chest but is now in multiple pieces. Some of the gold pieces are in the Nelson Atkins Museum of Art in Kansas City, Missouri, and some of the beads have been restrung into a necklace now owned by anonymous owners. Fascinating discovery continues to awe and titillate us 100 years later. And if you went on their website and looked at this yarn, you would see a picture of that reconstructed necklace. ancientartsfibers.com. So this is the King Tut colorway. It's dyed on a sock NATO base. That's an 80% superwash, 20% nylon fingering weight yarn. 385 yards in the field. So King Tut's colorway, the color of the month for January. And when I was in the store for their soft opening in early December, or maybe I ordered it online and then picked it up in their store. Anyway, I ordered the December colorway that they still had some in stock. So December is called Where the Caribou Go, representative of Nunavut and the Northwest Territories. Tundra is the name given to the type of biome where tree growth is hindered by frigid temperatures and short growing seasons, and where the plant life is composed mostly of dwarf shrubs, sedges, grasses, mosses, and lichens. The soil is rich in nutrients, and beneath a layer of rocks and soil is the permafrost, ground which stays frozen year-round. This far north, there are only 48 species of land mammals to be found, but there are 1,700 species of plants, and millions of birds migrate to the tundra. In Canada, the tundra stretches across the north from the Northwest Territories, east through Nunavut, and over to Newfoundland and Labrador. In the maps below on the website, the Northwest Territories is on the left and Nunavut is on the right. So why did we call December Color of the Month Where the Caribou Go? It's a tribute to the Arctic landscape that is found in the Northwest Territories and Nunavut. We were inspired by the unique landscape because of the beauty and resiliency of the ecosystem, especially in the face of extreme temperatures and its vulnerability to climate change. Also, the tundra is the backdrop to the rich heritage of some of the indigenous people of this world, of this land, who relied on the caribou for their survival. These animals provided people with meat and grease, with hides and sinew for shelters and clothing, and bone and antler for tools and weapons. Caribou hunting was and is a very important part of the indigenous culture. Sorry. So that's the December color of the month, Where the Caribou Go. Previous colorways are no longer in stock, but I did get one. I think it was an old color of the month. It's the Bay of Fundy. There it is. Bay of Fundy, New Brunswick. And I have no description of this because, of course, it's an old colorway. The information's already gone from the website. So the Bay of Fundy was special for me because I grew up in Nova Scotia, not too far from the Bay of Fundy itself. So there, those are my 3 new yarn purchases in the past month. So check out Ancient Arts Yarns, ancientartsfiber.com. Check out their new location on at 607 Manitou Road in Southeast Calgary, or you can order online and have it shipped. Yeah. So thank you for watching. Please click the like button so that this video can be shared with more people. And happy knitting, happy stitching, happy baking, happy whatever you're doing. Go find some joy.